Zelensky is not who you think he is. The media paints him as a hero, but billions of US dollars have disappeared under his watch. And now, they want Trump to trust him again. But what if that trust leads America into a deeper trap? Recently, many people criticized President Trump's Ukraine policy, believing that he is biased towards Russia. In fact, it's not that Trump is biased towards Russia, but that he will not support Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky. Zelensky is a foreign head of state who has extremely little respect for President Trump. And today, I will reveal the reason for you. If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe. On May 31st, former US State Secretary Mike Pompeo attended the Black Sea Security Forum in Odessa and gave a speech. In his conversation with the host, he elaborated on his view towards the Trump administration in the Russia-Ukraine war.
The United States is considering possibility recognizing of illegally annexed Crimea to be Russian. Do you think it's possible? What is your attitude to this? Thank you.
Look, I don't know. I don't do crystal balls or predictions. I hope not. It would be a mistake of epic proportions.
Pompeo made the comments in opposition to President Trump's consideration of granting Russia legal recognition of territory it has occupied in Ukraine as part of ongoing ceasefire talks. We all know that Mike Pompeo has betrayed President Trump and has attacked Trump's policies on many occasions. Therefore, Trump excluded him from the new administration. Mike Pompeo's support for Ukraine was a favor to Ukrainian President Zelensky. For President Trump, both of them are not friendly to him. Where did Trump's distrust of Zelensky come from? In 2019, President Trump was in a fierce election race with Joe Biden. While Joe Biden was vice president and point man for Ukraine, his son Hunter Biden magically landed a seat on the board of Burisma, a corrupt Ukrainian energy firm, earning up to $83,000 a month. It's absurd because Hunter Biden had no experience in energy or Eastern Europe affairs. Obviously, Burisma wasn't hiring Hunter for his skills. They were buying access to Joe Biden. And Joe Biden didn't just sit on the sidelines. Leaked emails and testimony suggest he was aware, involved, and profiting from Ukraine. One Hunter Biden's infamous email talks about holding 10% for the big guy. Every normal man knows who the big guy is. It's corruption. It's a Biden family pay-to-play scheme. Biden's corruption was unacceptable to the American people, and also unacceptable to President Trump. He knew it was time to clean house. The American people should know how bad and corrupt Biden was. So, he called the newly elected Ukraine President Zelensky and asked him to assist in the investigation of the Biden's corruption. However, Zelensky stood at Biden's side and refused to disclose the behind darkness. Although President Trump was disappointed, he still maintained respectability with Zelensky. But Zelensky didn't. Zelensky regarded Trump's order freezing US military aid to Ukraine, which came before the call, as an attempt by Trump to put pressure on him. After the call was exposed by Deep State, Zelensky claimed that he had no intention of participating in the US election. But he had already bet on Biden behind the scenes because he thought President Trump would take revenge on him after his re-election. In fact, the moment he rejected Trump, he had already shown that he was one of Biden's supporters. Then we all know. Joe Biden stole the election, and with his support, Ukraine started a war with Russia since 2022. Thousands of billions of money was sent to Ukraine. Joe Biden and Volodymyr Zelensky, they had the ability to spend American taxpayers' money, but can do nothing to win on the battlefield. Just like President Trump said.
But take a look at the war happening right now in Ukraine. It would have never happened if I were president to start off with. And there didn't even have to be a settlement. It wouldn't have happened, period. Russia wouldn't have gone in. I spoke to Putin about it a lot.
Maybe the war is God's punishment for Zelensky's stupid choices. One wrong step lead to another. Zelensky had no other option but to rely on Biden, who liked to use American money to support him. So during the 2024 election, he visited to U.S. Army plant in Scranton, Pennsylvania on September 22nd. This move showed clearly that he completely supported Joe Biden to win the election. Fortunately, Donald Trump got a big win in 2024 election and returned to the White House. After President Trump took office, he began working hard to negotiate on the Russia-Ukraine war, hoping to end the war as soon as possible. He wanted Ukraine to sign a mineral agreement to compensate the United States for the money it lost in the war. But Zelensky was arrogant and said he will not agree to peace talks unless Putin returns all Ukrainian territory. That's so ridiculous. Zelensky is dreaming. President Trump discovered that Zelensky was the stumbling block to peace talks. So he ordered to stop military aid to Ukraine and tried to make Zelensky realize the reality. And it worked. Zelensky claimed that he would meet Trump and sign the mineral deal. Then we all know, this guy visited White House at the end of February and had a face-to-face argument with the President Trump. As Vice President J.D. Vance said, Zelensky's behavior was very disrespectful to the American people. He obviously did not really want to sign a deal, but came here to deliberately quarrel and try to pressure Trump in front of the media. President Trump has since realized that Zelensky is a completely unreliable person. He should never trust Zelensky's words and support him. No one can get what they want from the US like Zelensky. During Biden's term, Zelensky could easily take away hundreds of billions of dollars and countless military aid from the United States with just one visit. Just like Hunter Biden did in Ukraine, countless amounts of money have been embezzled by Ukrainian officials and Democrats. Look what Biden did at the last day of his term. He actually pardoned his son Hunter Biden. So we can know Hunter Biden must have embezzled a huge amount of money, and Joe Biden was also involved. Look at the comments of the Democratic media on Biden's pardon of his son.
It's good, it's right, it's his right. He's an 82-year-old man. Doesn't want to spend the rest of his life visiting his son in prison. Republicans get away with this shit all the time.
They actually said that this is what a father should do. How ridiculous and double standard. When the Democrats carried out a judicial pursuit of the innocent Trump, they said that this was justice. When Biden did this disgusting pardon, they actually praised it. President Trump is right. These Democratic media are 200% fake news. And Zelensky is 200% a liar. The current reality is, people in Ukraine are dying every day, and Ukraine is completely incapable of regaining lost territory. So what should President Trump do to deal with him and save the lives of Ukrainians? In fact, Trump had already told us the solution.
A situation where we haven't had elections in Ukraine, where we have martial law, or essentially martial law in Ukraine.
Zelensky's 5-year presidential term officially expired on May 20th, 2024. However, he continued to serve as president on the grounds of wartime status. As long as he remains president, the war will never end. So Ukraine should hold elections, and Zelensky should step down. Then Ukraine and Russia will sign a peace agreement under President Trump's guidance to end the war. As for the territory that Ukraine may lose, the Ukrainian people can ask Zelensky and Biden for it, because they jointly caused all this. What do you think about this? Welcome to comment below. God bless America, and I'll see you soon.